Hey everyone, it's Kai from WCC, and today I'm going to just talk about my current thoughts of Vanguard Zero and just where it's heading to and what it's doing right and what it's doing wrong. And overall, just my thoughts on Vanguard Zero, because you guys probably haven't seen a lot of Vanguard Zero content in the past maybe 2 weeks or so. And yeah, just on the other side of the screen, this is just games that I was playing on stream last Friday. Yes, I did stream. I do rarely stream. Just need to grind my ladder for some ranked rewards. And yes, I did play 2 games at once. So you see, one of them is on my JP account and one of them is on my global account. Now, after grinding the Riviera ladder to get those rank rewards, I did make top 10. I got burnout, okay? Burnout happens, that's normal, you know, if you get bad beats or you just play too hard, you know, you can get burnout. So I just kind of stopped playing for just like, you know, 1 season. And that season was the Ultimate Break format, and the global, for global, it was the Limit Break format just started. And it wasn't because I was totally burnt out. I did still play because I did need Ezzles. But surprisingly, I thought Ultimate Break format would be really, really fun. But it turned out to be very, very lame. I didn't like the Ultimate Break format at all. It's not like I didn't have a meta deck, alright? I had Aquaforce, I got all my glories for it. I had a fully built Aquaforce deck, so I was pretty much good to go. Top tier decks then were Aquaforce, Gold Paladin, and MLB. And on my JP account, I had Aquaforce. But I realized I hated playing that format just because of the lack of player agency it had. So with that, you play Aquaforce. Aquaforce is a deck that, in Zero, there is not much you can actually do. Okay, your decision in Aquaforce is, can I make 4 attacks? Can I hit Limit Break 4? And is it correct now to ride Glory Maelstrom? And maybe there's like a few more niche ideas that you might need to do. But apart from that, in terms of attack order and all that, it's pretty much set in stone. You have to do it a certain way, or you're not going to get your Limit Break off of Maelstrom. And yeah, you had to do it. And then you're facing against other decks where MLB is still good. It got buffed, right? It got the spirits. You'll have a 12k Vanguard and crit you to the face. And then you had 9 crit Ezzles that would just randomly crit you. And what can you do against that? You can hope to draw your nulls, and that's pretty much it. Hope to draw your nulls, hope to heal, and yeah, hope to not die. So playing that format was super, super lame. And unfortunately, on the global format, not much better. I didn't crack a lot of cards, a lot of packs. Well, I did crack a lot. If you saw my gacha pulls, they were terrible. So I was kind of forced to just still play either the big 3, which is pretty much the MLB, because I still rated that over just everything else. I did want to build Narukami, but again, didn't pull enough Vermilions. Pulled a lot of Dungarees though, and I had to grind for my Ezzles because I was missing some Ezzles. So I still played, but you know, overall, kind of burnt out. You know, had to play more MLB, and then again, kind of the similar problem where you face against 9 crit Ezzles, and what can you do? You just get crit and die, right? But at least there was a bit more to it, because you know, MLB is just such a stable and good deck compared to everything else, so you could still get some really positive win rates. Now, I want to go back a bit to the point where you know, the big 3 just got released. You know, MLB, Kagura, Shadow Paladins, big 3 best decks in the format. Why was that format better, or probably the best that Vanguard Zero had so far? And that's because there was a lot of player agency, right? There was a lot of things that you could choose. The format was slower, the games would go a bit longer, there was more decisions to make, and your early decision had a big impact on the later decision, right? As a Kagura player, I want to stop damage against MLB. Do I want to keep his starters alive so I can kill it, or just not give him any damage so he can't use the starter, and etc, etc? Or do I want to commit early? Do I think he doesn't have the combo and he can't effectively utilize his counterblast, so I can just go all out? What happens later though is just, especially when I think of like Break Ride format and just the changes in like the null guards and all that. If you're playing new nulls, or you're playing you know, a Limit Break deck against a Limit Break deck, essentially there is not much you can do against that. You want a damage down, you want to keep them at 3. Sure, but they play damage increases, right? Aquaforce plays like up to 8, you know? Gold Paladin plays up to 8 as well. Well, they can play a bit less, but you keep them 3, doesn't matter. Keep them at 2, then it just comes down to how many damage increases they draw. And then when they hit Limit Break 4, suddenly they flood the board and bam, you're in a bad situation. That kind of gets compounded in Break Ride. And when I first thought of Break Ride and what it might become, I just went, sounds pretty annoying, you know? They ride their Break Ride card, hit 4, and they go bam, 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 you're dead from 3. And dying from 3 does happen quite a lot, right? It's not like it's a far off thing now with the power level that you get. You've got, like, for example, for Eradicators, you have Descendant, you know, 1, 2, Break Ride retires a card, which is insane. Then you go 1, 2, 3 attacks, and your last attack is a double attack if they null the first one. So they have to at least have 2 nulls from 3 damage, and if they don't get a trigger, they're just probably dead. Even if they do, you have cards that buff power that can hit it past it, and then your Vanguard attack will always break through triggers on a Break Ride. Same thing with kind of Liberators as well, and basically just with a Break Ride, you have a very good chance of just killing your opponent at 3, and it seems kind of insane. Now, after playing it, it was kind of like that, but not as bad as I thought. I thought, like, you know, Break Rides would just destroy the game, but you know, the game is still playable, but again, the amount of player agency you have is just not as high. You have to, I think the biggest choice now is, do you take the risk to kill your opponent at 3 or not? Or do you just hope to save extra turns? Apart from that, you know, format very, very fast, so games are quicker. That means in terms of how long the game goes, longer games usually mean more decisions that you have to make, and your decisions will impact the game for a longer period of time. Shorter games means less decisions. One decision will possibly spell like doom or victory for you, and then it's just up to you to make that 50% play. And again, not much you can do when it comes to your opponent rushes, goes face. You can't really stabilize at all, because the moment you try to stabilize, you still have to give your opponent that damage, and then once they reach that limit break threshold, unless you just try to one-shot them, they just destroy you, they demolish you, right? So, otherwise though, it wasn't as bad. It wasn't as bad as Aquaforce versus Krif and MLB, because I actually just really, really hate that format. So, that is one gripe at the moment for me for Vanguard Zero. Lack of player agency, and I hope they can somehow fix that, because the problem with Zero is that a lot of your defensive options are basically just perfect guards, or null guards. And when you increase the power level in Paper Vanguard, you can just increase the amount of draws you get. Because draws equal guard, and guard equals just, you know, living, right? So more cards you draw, more cards you can guard with, and that kind of fixes itself out. But with Zero, all your guards are fixated on just 4 cards in your deck, which is just the perfect cards. And sure, your draw helps you get those perfect cards, but you'll reach a point where, you know, you're basically just either heals or nulls. And increasing the draw for that just doesn't do much, right? It doesn't do much, especially when the power levels are just going to go higher and higher. What are they going to do when Legion comes along? Legion, you know, high Vanguard columns. Basically everything in Legion is like a restand or a guard restrict. So, yeah, they're gonna need to somehow find a way to put more like play decisions in the game that like actually influence it. I know mobile games, they always like to make it fast, make it simple, but there still has to be a degree of player influence. And it's not just, you know, do I push him to 3, push him past 3, do I keep him at 2, you know, because I'm afraid of the limit break. And yeah, that's the very, very minimal player agency that you can do. The second thing is that this is a bit of a lower gripe, but with the Break Ride set being released, there were 12 triple Rs that you needed in your deck for Eradicators. I don't even have 12 triple Rs. I'm missing a Gauntlet Buster, but yeah, you needed 12 triple Rs for the ideal deck, and that's quite a lot when you consider, all things considered, Eradicators is just a subclan of Narukami. So overall, I think it'd be better, like, in the future if they didn't put like 12 triple Rs that you require. Like think about Gold Paladin, you know, Blaster Blade Liberator, Eskrad, and Ganslot. Sure. Blaster Blade is you don't actually need 4, and it comes out as like a kind of like a promo, but still, if you missed the promo, and unfortunately if you did, because it's a damn good looking promo, they're doing really good with that original art stuff. Yeah, you're gonna need to fish your way out of it. And honestly, later on, you might need 4 Blaster Blade Liberators, you know, when you get the counter charge engines going. So, yeah, no, it's kind of still 12 triple Rs. And when you pull an S-Cry, you just feel awful because it's just like a reskinned Vivian. So, I think it's best if when they release like a new archetype, they only stick to like 8 triple Rs. I mean, Shadow Paladin came out with 12 triple Rs, and that was a huge pain for everyone as well because, you know, it was really hype set. But what am I saying? I'm not a businessman. I'm not making the monies for Game Studio Bushido. I'm giving the monies most of the time. So yeah, I think it'll be better if there's no 12 triple Rs, but that's just my pride. But plus for Vanguard Zero is if you take this as a very casual game and don't feel salty, then sure, it's fine. That's why I did some streaming. And you can see that I think later on I was playing like fun Spectral Duke decks. I mean, on global I'm definitely playing 9-crit Spectral Duke just to pass the time. But yeah, Break Ride Spectral Duke is fun. But they are doing very, very good with these alternate arts. I have to say, right? The Revenger Blaster Dark is absolutely insane. Blaster Blade Liberator, that is insane. They're doing so good with that. And I hope they really amp up these, like, you know, alternate arts, and if possible even port them to the paper game, because when they do like reprints for like the paper Vanguard, they're just reprints. But if they have alternate art reprints, that would look so good. Especially like just the amount of stuff they have is just insane. And overall, the nice balancing they're doing, the rebalancing of certain cards is still good. I just hope they do add more defensive options at least for Vanguard Zero. That's not lock. If it's lock, I don't think lock's a super good mechanic. Hopefully they change that, but I don't know. I actually didn't have to play much of the story so much, but the next like defensive option we get is at G Guardians, and it's like way away. So overall, that's it from me. Hopefully I'll do more. Maybe I'll do more Dirk profiles later on. But so far my gacha so far has been not very good. So unless I do it during the rental period. But apart from that, yeah, that's basically me with Vanguard Zero, my gripes with Vanguard Zero. Let me know in the comments what you guys think of Vanguard Zero currently, if you're still playing or not. Let me know. Let me know what you guys think. So that's it from me. Vanguard Zero content once in a while. Maybe I'll do more streams for it, but see you guys in the next video. Bye.